Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. And welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
Good evening and welcome to a fresh new edition of your one and only Liberty Live, 1847 Liberty on Liberty Live. I'm Thomas Sarko, your presenter. When mainstream media outlets prioritize catering to the loudest and most extreme voices from opposing political factions in Liberia, 1847 Liberty steps into the gap to amplify the moderate and reasoned voices that continue to yearn for nuance, balance, and arguments grounded in logic. Eric, beg your pardon, that was a glitch in the studio. Arguments grounded in logic and common sense amid an increasingly polarized political environment. Our mission is to create a trusted platform where Liberians can engage with thoughtful analysis, fact-based reporting, and respectful debate. Another glitch again. Beg your pardon. So we'll take it from the top. A lot of studio problems. So when mainstream media outlets prioritize catering to the loudest and most extreme voices from opposing political factions in Liberia, 1847 Liberty steps into the gap to amplify the moderate and reasoned voices that continue to yearn for nuance, balance, and arguments grounded in logic and common sense amid an increasingly polarized political environment. Our mission at 1847 Liberty is to create a trusted platform where Liberians can engage with thoughtful analysis, fact-based reporting, and respectful debate. 1847 Liberty speaks to challenge partisan echo chambers by elevating diverse perspectives that prioritize national unity over division, integrity over propaganda, and solutions over slogans. Through rigorous journalism and civic education, we aim to empower citizens to make informed decisions, hold leaders accountable, and strengthen Liberia's democratic foundations. Please stay tuned. So let's talk about something that isn't funny, even though our politicians in Liberia keep turning it into a running joke. The fight against drugs in Liberia. Now, picture this. It's August 7, 2025, and Liberians from every walk of life hit the streets. Students, market women, bike riders, pastors, imams, everybody. Not for a concert, not for football, but to say, we're tired. Tired of kids disappearing into ghettos, tired of neighborhoods living in fear, tired of watching the future get smoked away. The Say No to Drugs protest was the country's way of saying loud and clear, enough. On the eve of that protest, President Joseph Boakai stepped up like a man who had just remembered the exam is tomorrow. He unveiled a bold anti-drug action plan and declared, unquote, Liberia will not lose another generation to drugs, not on my watch. Strong words. The plan promised everything: tougher prosecutions, mandatory sentences, asset seizures, scanners and dog squads at the borders, lockdowns and hotspots, plus rehab, reintegration, school programs, and even whistleblower rewards. On paper, it looked like the anti-drug Avengers were assembling to save Liberia. But Liberians have seen this movie before. Under former President George Weah, Liberia made global headlines with its biggest cocaine bust, about 100 million US dollars worth. Then came the plot twist. The alleged traffickers walked free. To many Liberians, that spoke volumes. In our justice system, money and connections are the real judges. So when Bwaka said no status, no title, no uniform, and no connection will protect anyone involved in drugs, people wanted to believe that. They also wanted proof. They wanted to believe that, but they also wanted proof. Because here's the bottom line. A country can't keep shouting never again while living yet again. At some point, the script has to change, or the audience will walk out. Now, this is not funny, ladies and gentlemen. It is a very serious issue. So let's focus on today. Less than a year after those passionate speeches and promises, we're once again confronted with another scandal. The seizure of about $19 million worth of illegal drugs at Roberts International Airport. History may not always repeat itself, but in the case of our dear country, Liberia, it is inevitably the most traumatic chapters that keep resurfacing. How can a government that was so loud and passionate about confronting the drug epidemic just a year ago be so quiet about one of the biggest drug trafficking cases in our nation's history? Even more troubling is the behavior of some of our most notable citizens who now defend the government's lack of transparency. People whose critical voices were loud and passionate during previous regimes are suddenly trying to spin every discrepancy of this government. How will the country advance when many of its educated minds, those supposed to shed light in the darkness, move from one regime to another, kissing the asses of politicians to gain favor or keep their jobs? These are the people urging Liberians to be patient, to not rush to conclusions, to give the government more time. But no, we're not staying patient or keeping quiet this time. Not for your convenience. Neither are we rushing to declare anyone guilty. We're demanding transparency, the release of the names of alleged high-profile suspects, and regular public updates on the case status. That is standard practice in high-profile criminal investigations in any functioning democracy. We will not remain silent when the government shields or continue to shield the reputations of alleged high-profile suspects. If you are not consistent in your advocacy for good governance in Liberia, then you are not serious about a better country. This is the time to wake up, open your eyes, fellow Liberians, and end the cycle of putting old wine in new bottles, of making hustlers and noisemakers for patriots, and mistaking hustlers and noisemakers for patriots, when their real aim is to profit from an unchecked public system instead of working hard for an honest living in serious countries like the United States.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
Okay. Okay, now returning to the show to help unpack this serious issue is our senior foreign policy and national security analyst, Mr. John T. Mawolo from Columbia, Maryland. Trained in politics and international relations in France, Mr. Mawolo that was English again. Mr. Mawolo brings extensive professional experience from both the United States and France. Mr. Mawolo, it is a pleasure to have you back tonight. Mr. Mawolo is still in the green room getting ready, so we'll move on to our next panelist. Now, also returning to the show tonight is the Honorable Matthew Nyanplu, a fearless grassroots organizer, journalist, and disability rights champion who has spent more than 17 years on the front lines of Liberia's struggle for justice. Trained in the United States and Spain, he has fought Mr. Nyanplu. I'm trying to get Mr. Nyanplu onto the stage. Okay, there goes Mr. Okay. Not yet, Eric. So, Mr. Nyanplu, he has fought in classrooms, newsrooms, and remote communities to give a voice to the unforgotten. He helped build Prime FM, one of Liberia's leading radio stations, from scratch, and became a powerful voice on national radio. He also pushed the nation to open its elections to people with disabilities. In 2024, he walked away from power rather than stay silent in the face of deception. And now, Mr. Nyanplu is back with a mission to shake the system itself through a new political force, the Party for the People. Mr. Nyanplu, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Sako. I'm glad to be on your show. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me, and good afternoon, good evening, I wouldn't say good night, good evening to everyone across the world and across Liberia, where we are beaming live right now. So I'm excited to be on your show. I'm looking forward to an interesting conversation regarding current affairs in our home country, Liberia.
Likewise, sir. Okay, that was Mr. Nyanplu. Now we'll bring on to the stage another astute Liberian gentleman. So appearing tonight and making his debut appearance tonight in Studio B in our studio here in Minneapolis is my good friend and political commentator, Mr. Eric Albert Nimely, also known as Daface, a rising force in Liberian entertainment and media, a captivating content creator, actor, and on-air personality. He lit up the stage as a presenter for the Liberia Musical Awards, helping spotlight the very best of Liberian music and culture. On screen and online, Eric Daface Nimely is building a powerful connection with audiences through creativity, charisma, and storytelling, turning his passion for entertainment into a platform that inspires and energizes a new generation. Mr. Nimely, welcome to the show, my brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Thomas, and hello to everybody in the studio and those that are watching us. Say good evening, good morning, good night, whatever you are. And I'm blessed to be on the show. Thank you.
Good, good, good. Okay, now we still haven't heard back from Mr. Mawolo, but we'll take this one, and when we get back, we will get into our first segment.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
Police checking on police, there's a cover up. It's always going to happen. It's always going to be there. So since we know it's always going to be there, and so to prevent the type of incrimination that will go on, invite members from the civil society to come in and participate, you see, to listen in to the investigation without being intimidated, you see. That's how you do it. But you can't keep it close to the professional standard division unless, of course, if you had the respect.
Look, if you recruit 5,000 young people,
Police check.
Okay, there you go. All right, Mr. Nyanplu. So we're back again talking about this burning issue in Liberia. So how does the drug trade? How does this drug trade concretely threaten Liberia's stability and its institutions?
Well, that is a very loaded question.
Yeah.
It's a loaded question that can be analyzed in a multidimensional way.
What's
but I
your
also,
angle?
yeah, but I also think that drug or illicit drug as a threat to Liberia's future, I think it's just for political theater or to be politically correct. Because it doesn't have to threaten Liberia's future for the motivation to exist, for us to enforce our laws. So if globally cocaine has been declared illicit in spite of the aggrandizement that people get from it, and nations across the world, including our own Liberia, Liberia is part of the committee of nations that has that cocaine is considered an illicit substance that can be abused and that's dangerous to our people, and we have made it unlawful, then we do not need to justify that it threatens the future of Liberia for us to enforce our laws.
That's a
So
good one.
yeah, I wouldn't want to like follow the I mean what I have been hearing lately in Liberia, that drug threatens the future of Liberia and blah blah blah. For to push state law enforcement authorities to act in the way they should and what they're being paid for. So I wouldn't say drug threatens the future of Liberia. I wouldn't say that. If our laws are trampled upon, our laws must be enforced. Cocaine is an illicit drug. It is against our laws, and we have to enforce the law. We cannot say drugs are dangerous. Every drug is dangerous, including the medications that we take.
Even prescription drugs are dangerous.
Prescription drugs are dangerous. So I wouldn't say that, or cocaine. So every drug is dangerous, but for us to act on the trafficking of illicit drugs, we do not need a justification to say that it threatens the future of Liberia. I do not believe that illicit drugs threaten the future of Liberia compared to bad governance, and that our country has not broken the shackle of illicit, bad governance, poor governance, inefficient governance, corrupt governance is as dangerous as the effects of illicit drugs. And the trafficking of illicit drug is no less dangerous than having incompetent people in power who are self-aggrandizing and enriching themselves, pillaging our nation's coffers under the pretext of
Okay, Mr. Nap.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
Okay, so we having a little glitch over there. Mr. Nyanplu is experiencing.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. Welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
Okay, so Mr. Nyanplu is having some. Okay, I think he's back. We will not go too fast. I think you have some.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me now? I think you're having a glitch over there, man.
I think I had a network break. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, I'm hearing you clearly.
I can hear you. I'll have to rejoin.
Yeah. Yes, rejoin, restart and rejoin. That would be the best way forward. So we can come back to our own friend here in Studio B, to be specific, Mr. Daface Nimely, Eric Nimely, aka Daface. So, I mean, Ken, from your background, because you're in the creative space, so can the creative energy driving Liberian entertainment push back against glorifying drugs and fast money?
Thank you again. Yes. The entertainment industry, the entertainment have one of the most powerful tools in shaping culture. The entertainment industry have influence over young people. So as artists, as influencers, as musicians, content creator, you name it. There is a way that we can push, like we can influence and destroy the use of drugs. There's a big responsibility that the influencer have to tell the story of the hard work, the education systems, the entrepreneurship, the positive community value. There are things that we can preach out there when we're creating contents, when we're making up music. There are things that can go within the music that can preach these things that would extract drugs from the ghetto. And so that's one of the power they have as entertainers. You can go on stage, you got a microphone, you the MC, you the performers, you can preach, and the global world gonna listen to you. So the entertainment industry have a very, very big impact on saying no to drugs. As you said, the Say No to Drugs campaign came out, and that was a very hit to the president that causes the president to come out and make that statement. Even though the president made the statement, yet and still it have to be enforced. In order for it to be enforced, the citizen have power. The citizen has the number, and more especially the youth has the number. So if the president is being silent now on this other issue regarding drugs, that is the very huge quantity, which of course we see the president being very active, or the government in general was very active on the little drugs in the ghettos. That people were taken to jail, people had jail sentence, people were all posted on social media, artists were posted on social media with just a quantity of drugs that cost $50, $25. And now we got a drugs that equate into a huge amount of money that can build schools, build hospitals, build roads, and the president and the government in general is being silent. It's about time that the youth, the content creators, those that make content, there is about time that they can speak up because they got the power, the media. Social media is one of the biggest community in area. I mean, that your voice can be heard all over the world. You can just sit right in your room and make your voice go all over the world. So our entertainers, our content creators, this is the time that they can make their voices heard for the betterment of Liberia. So yes, as a question asked, the entertainment industry got a very important role to play, and yes, they can play that role if they are willing to save Liberia.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, so I wanted to tie in what you said with what Matthew said, but he hasn't come on yet. But before that, Matthew is in. Yes, so like Eric was saying, and in connection or in relation to what you said, I would like to put it this way with this famous.
Sorry, there was a break in my connection, man. I just went off.
Okay, are you with us now?
I mean, if you can hear me loud and clear.
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So before you left, you mentioned something about drugs not being a problem.
Yeah, I was drawing the analogy.
Yeah, but enforcement is the problem. The lack of enforcement, and then Eric was saying similar, stuff like that too, and it brings me to this old adage or this popular saying that guns don't kill people, but people kill people. Yes. So the drugs don't kill people, but the lack of supervision, the lack of monitoring, right?
Mm-hmm. The misapplication.
There you go. Is the problem. And leadership, the gap in leadership, leads to all of those vices. But Matthew, I'll let you to resume, for where you.
Yeah. So the point I was making was that the hype of drug is dangerous to our country, for me, I think is unfounded. Okay. And it's being peddled by people who daily do dangers to our country at the same level that drug would do. Okay, these people sit in their offices. I mean, our country. We hope and pray that our Liberia will experience good governance at some point in the future, so that our people's lives can be better, so that our people can be able to see the difference between what we have had from 1847 till now and what the future will look like. And I hope that, because the point is that even those who are in power today are not motivated to lift the people of Liberia out of poverty, because if they do that, they will be tampering with their own power base. Okay, they'll be threatening the foundations of their power, because you have to play on the gullibility of the people so that you can be maintained in power. So that when elections come around, you behave like a person of goodwill, and then you play on their emotions, and then they vote you back to power. You get 6 years and they get $50
Yep.
during the election year. That conduct is as dangerous as the effect of drugs. So I wouldn't yell that drug. I'm not moved by drugs are dangerous or threaten the future of our country. It is bad governance that threatens the future of our country. And the all the bickering that we are hearing in Liberia today about, and the shenanigans about the drug bust, is just the result of the inefficient governance that we have. Mr. Sako, at the airport where we have been reading that the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency busted, the trafficking of drug, or the illegal transshipment of a consignment of illegal drug to Europe. The consignment was in somebody's possession. You know, the cargo was registered, because I mean, you travel a lot, and I also do travel. When you go with your consignment, if you're going through, if it is through SM Brussels or what kind of airline, you go, you check your bagging, and the destination is placed on your consignment, and you know where you are going. It's registered to your name. How would they be telling us that drug was busted at the Roberts International Airport on the 5th, according to the Minister of Justice? It happened, and that was when the bust happened. And then yesterday, it was a Friday, uh about 15 or 20 days after, that's when you start to name people of interest. Who did you arrest at the scene? In whose possession did you apprehend the stuff? Why was that? Why should there be secrecy? Why do you need a national security apparatus to execute a function that's within the ambit of an institution of government that is legislated, receiving public money, like Drug Enforcement Agency? Why do you need national security apparatus to investigate drug? And we have the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. I believe that this has been a cover. That's why I'm not.
But Mr. Matthew, from my understanding, is
Let me just land my thought, brother.
interagency
Like I told you, if the
approach.
drug was busted at the Robert International Airport, you say a consignment of 90 million worth of cocaine busted at Robert International Airport in the possession of XYZ. 1, 2, 3, 4 are the persons of interest. You don't wait 15 days and you say you investigate. What are you investigating?
I agree with that part, but I was just responding to your comment, your statement you made about the government needing the National Security Agency to investigate. So, from my understanding, it's an agency investigation.
But that could have come. That could have
Interpol. So it's an operation. Yeah.
Look, this is a very big national conspiracy and cover up that is being foisted on our people to make us believe that this is so big. I do not believe that it is so big that where it was there was a crime scene. There was a crime scene. Where the consignment was apprehended was a crime scene. Who was at the crime scene?
Yeah.
Who are the people who are at the crime scene?
We've been asking.
Mr. Sako, to name those who where the cocaine was And who was responsible for that shipment? Because like I told you, we all travel here. You check your baggage in, it's logged to your name.
Sure.
It is scanned. You walking through all the magnetometer, all the places there, people are scanning it. So every baggage that enters the airport has an owner.
Yes.
So if you said this is illegal, in whose possession was it that you apprehended? For us to know that, do we have to wait for National Security Council to convene to tell us that you busted $90 million worth of drug at the Royal International Airport, but you can't say who name is it because it will compromise the investigation? For me, that's the craziest thing I've heard in the 21st century.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, and that's the same concern we all have. Like,
So
why
that inefficiency is the effect of the bad governance that is as dangerous as trafficking in illicit drug. So you can't be happy trafficking illicit drug as a danger to the future of Liberia when every day you are doing to our country what drug is doing to people who are trafficking it.
Even more than what drugs.
Even more than that.
Yeah.
So I mean, we can't be moved by that. Our country needs reawakening, and I hope we'll get to that point. So I'm not moved by that. I believe that what the minister, this minister of justice, I always provided legal cover up for the illegal acts of Mr. Boakai's government.
Do you think it's going to Mr. Boakai government or governments in general for Liberia?
Well, I'm not going to absolve anybody of responsibility. All the government from 1847 up to now, I have made the point. I said, because I work in the government for about, the current government for about 8 months, I had the opportunity to come up close with conversations that ministers have. And I listened to the motivation. I studied a couple and I up close. And my conclusion was this: from 1847 to now, the government of Liberia is an organized criminal syndicate that has perpetrated crimes, unspeakable crimes against the people of Liberia. And that system has continued to perpetuate itself, irrespective of which political party has held power. We have to bust that.
So, Mr. Nyanplu, what do we know about what do we know of some of the people that were arrested or that were named as persons of interest? Are they?
I believe important leads, important evidence has been tampered with. I believe that strongly. I also believe that the government of that this is my conviction. I also believe the country would not have got to know about that drug situation at the airport if the U.S. intelligence did not grab it. I believe that it is because that consignment came to the knowledge of the U.S. representatives in Liberia.
Yes,
that was why the LDA was constrained to announce that they busted a drug syndicate. I'm also of the conviction that this may not have been the first time. No. This may not have been the first consignment.
I think our airport a regular transit point.
I don't believe those who are trafficking in illicit substances and using Liberia as a conduit will be brave enough that on their first try they will release 19 million worth of cocaine. I don't believe that. They've been testing the water. Maybe they sent 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million worth. It went through 5 million, it went through 6 million, it went through. This one, I believe in international intelligence picked it up. That's why the Liberian authorities announced it. But when you were at a crime scene, you did not tell us whose consignment it was and in whose possession you apprehended it. You waited 15 days after.
Yeah, you waited for.
Now, this is the point. They were saying their justification was we don't want to name names because it will compromise the investigation. Now they have come out and they have named people and they said those people are at large. 15 days as the people, those who were trafficking the substances had 15 days to escape.
So why do you wait for them to get away before coming to?
They have 15 days to escape. They have 15 days to escape.
I smell something fishy, man.
Now, let me tell you about now. It is unfortunate. I mean, as a country, most of what our political advocacy in Liberia has been about the executive branch of government,
Okay.
or sometimes the legislature. But our court system, and I say this as somebody who is aspiring to be a lawyer and to practice in that system is rotting. That court system cannot stand as it is for the new Liberia that we want. The entire judicial system has to be overhauled.
I share that same
I do not,
belief.
and I will say this, I do not trust.
I share that same belief. Yep.
I do not trust that there will be serious convictions
Yep.
coming out of this case.
Justice
I do not
delayed,
believe so.
justice denied. Yep.
I
Yep.
do not believe so.
Because if the
And yeah,
president-
if you have followed Liberia judicial history, most recent judicial history, the judicial system in our country has eyes to see. It has eyes to see. That system has eyes to see. Those who go to life imprisonment are those who are less prominent. That system does not see people who are prominent.
That statement is strong.
That system does not see people who are prominent. They play on the legal technicalities that you go down to the lower courts. You pursue a criminal case because the government, as as the laws are currently in Liberia, the government cannot take an appeal. So you have a prosecution that deliberately is derelict. They go less motivated to prosecute a case, and then the accused gets an acquittal. It ends right there. The state cannot file an appeal. Or if the public sentiment is too strong, and the person being prosecuted is not very powerful, or maybe at the intermediate rank, you get a conviction at the lower court, then you file an appeal, you post a bond, and you are out. And then that appeal takes 6 years, and Liberian people forget about it. And one day the Supreme Court sits down and say they overturn the verdict in the lower court. So that the entire structure of governance in Liberia is rotten, but not mistaken. The judiciary, and like we've said before, we are planning. Because as a journalist, as a civil society actor, I came up close with the decay of our country. When I working in the field, you need to go right outside Monserrato County. Even part of Monserrato County, roads don't reach there. People don't have running water. Electricity doesn't go there. They don't have pipe-borne water. They don't have good toilets.
but my
Just
brother, Mr.
just outside,
you're
just
going too far. Right in Mamba Point, the
okay,
diplomatic,
diplomatic enclave.
right, do not
So-
have running water.
That's the point I'm making.
You're going
So
too far. Yeah.
I'm going too far. So that system, my brother, our people have to come to the reawakening. But those who are in power today have the vested interest to keep it that way, because that is what fuels their wealth and access to unjustified
Power. Yeah.
power and wealth
Power,
and
yeah.
all of that. So as I've said before, that I think I made an announcement that by the grace of God, we tired advocating. We know what is happening in our country. We want to enter the race and take on the political class. And we're running for president in 2029. And if I were president on day one, I would sit with the Chief Justice and I would tell him that everyone who is a judge and magistrate has to resign their position
And reapply.
Reapply.
and be vetted.
Vetted. Yeah.
Everyone who is a judge or a magistrate, because the strengthening of the rule of law starts with a very strong court system.
The Chief Justice still need to be vetted.
Starts with a very strong court system. Have you followed the trail? I'm gonna give you a trail. The Sable mining case under Ellen Johnson Sally Vanny that involved Vanny Sherman, they were never convicted. There was a very big, loud noise about money being missing at the central bank when George Weah came to power. Milton Weeks and all the people that were handcuffed and they sent to prison and they prosecuted the case. They were never convicted. Samuel Twe was paraded and say he alleged to have been corrupt, sanctioned by the U.S. government. He went to court recently. He was acquitted. So, my brother, let me tell you, the Liberian political class, they know how to get their way through the court system. So they will just tell you, say, okay, you can file a case. Let's go to court. So the thing, what the justice minister just said recently, I believe he's making fun because they know that those people that they have named, including those that they have not named, I don't believe that there will be conviction in this 90 million drug bust case. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
Okay,
And this is a disservice to the people of Liberia. So the
yeah,
Liberian people should
yeah,
not
yeah.
don't
Come to you.
comrade, don't bother
I'll
yourself.
come to
Nothing
you.
is going in our Liberian way. We say what? Nothing will come out of it.
Nothing.
Yeah. Okay, but there's something I still need to understand here. I think I was talking to Eric about this earlier, and I think Eric has some information for us. Like, I think there are some high-profile individuals who are allegedly tied to this drug situation, but I don't think those individuals were named by the justice minister. Eric, you want to comment on that?
Let me like what you just said, right? So the former vice president, Joe Hamilton, she made certain statement. She said, in Liberia, we are family. So when we're handling issues, we should handle it in a way that we will not put our brothers and sisters somewhere that we will regret tomorrow. You see that? So that tells you that we have to play the game that because we are family, you don't know who you're going to put in jail tomorrow. Like the George issue. We hearing some big names that is circulating in social media. The George issue. It might not be 100% true. But the people have the power to say where the smoke comes from. Man, it's like fire there. Yeah, fire is there. So these names might not be 100%, but these names are linked to it, one way or another. And these are big names that the government.
The 15-day timeline, the 15 days are in line. They finish cutting all the links.
First of all, the justice minister.
They were cooking the books.
The justice minister came up and called names of these people that is going to be very easy to apprehend.
And he said that some people are lash.
Yeah,
you have 15 days. You call anybody name.
Yes.
So because you didn't call anybody name, you could not stop anybody from leaving the country.
Yes.
You could not issue a arrest warrant.
At all. You and myself.
You could not issue wanted list. You could not issue this person as wanted. You can't. You say person of interest. You making fun. 15 days after.
So I was at the airport. I had my luggages, went through whatever, went through the conveyor belt, went in there, and the next thing, one of the guys walked out to me, hey, can we find Eric Nimely? And I was writing, I said, yeah, I'm Eric. He said, come over, please. And I went there and said, oh, you got all you got, right? What you call it, chicken or whatever, meat or fish or whatever. You know, nobody will come in from Africa. We'll bring a couple of things for us to sustain us for a couple of times to save a couple of dollars. So, like exactly what you said, my name is on the top.
Exactly.
So if something is in my pockets,
Release
an
individual name.
Who name was tied to that luggage?
We saw it from the lady who passed through the airport with drugs. She was arrested right there.
They call her name. They say the amount.
Yes. What's happening with this other with this nothing later?
Why other people that can carry with drugs, they can put their knee there, arrest them.
Right.
Then they want to say, no, we got to investigate.
And you allow all these people to travel.
So run away.
Run away. Then you say, okay, you know why? You know that big hands, man.
The boy feel stupid.
You can get a couple of dollars. After 4 or 5 years, the whole thing will go on the carpet. But we'll call
man, 4 or 5 years a long time. I gave you 3 more.
We
One
know
more set.
the tricks and artifices the guys are using to get this thing on the carpet. Because they are big names. And the names are on the social media. So we can call it. We're not afraid to call names when it's already circulated. We already know that the police director names have come up.
I read people like that too.
Oh, yes. The president's
I heard.
The president's names up. And that's the most shocking stuff that I see. That is the most shocking names that we heard on Reliable Source. And it's out there. The vice president name is in this. It's in there.
That's a big one. That's a big one. Wow.
Yeah, you see, these names.
No wonder why it took them 15 days.
And when
You
you
know
see,
what?
for my
Those
late
are also believe
involvement,
in God. We say God doesn't sleep.
for my late involvement in the
God doesn't
city in
sleep.
Liberia and stuff, there are few names that is shock me because there are names that are people that I have interacted with and know. And I'm not going to be a part because the thing is that I'm not seeking for a job. One, I'm not hungry. I'm not going to beg anybody. We are friends, but I'm not speaking for a government or for a specific party. I'm speaking for the betterment of Liberia. So if you have something to destroy the country, I would definitely speak out. I don't care about your friendship. I have lose important people in life, and life still goes on. So the name of the president's son being part of this, it was not strange to me. At all. It didn't shock me. One thing that actually shocked me was the vice president. I stuck with the vice president. That man is persuasive. That man got a very sweet tone that when he talks to you, you feel that, Jesus Christ has spoken. I think. You know what I'm saying? So for you hearing it kind of a name, but again, it's not going to be shocking because that man have a track record. He has a track record that if he was in an advanced country, he was not going to be eligible for even for a representative position. Before talking about vice president.
Wow.
But yeah, he got a very, very bad track record. But like, we can't keep something like Joe said, we are all family members in Liberia. So we sweep something on the carpet.
But Eric, don't you think the Liberian people have a right to know what was his hiding?
Listen, okay. Our vice president.
We have a right to know. He's our vice president.
Our vice president, his record is out there. A lot of people know when you're hearing how you call it, representative. A lot of people know how many white kings are, how many land dispute, how many people go, cutlasses, fight, and all these kind of records, and nothing came out of it because he was in power. And he fought his way through whatever means he could fight his way to get into power. And he got it. And now he's a vice president, somebody that is already seeking to go for president, to go for the presidency in 2029 or whatever if Joseph Walker will let him. But one thing I'm glad of what we're speaking of, we are not speaking we're not speaking the interest of any party. We are speaking for Liberia, like we said, from 1847 to now. So it means that whatever government that you work in, till now, you still see Liberia not on the right path. So that's it. Because people, the mentality of we Liberians, if you talk against Waka, you are sedition. You talk against we are your United Partisans. So let them make it clear that we are speaking for Liberia. We are not having interest in any political party. But yes, there are big names that have not been called, and these names need to be called.
Okay, so Eric, I see how you're trying. You're being very careful. You don't want to, say too much. But then I'm also wondering if, because I know you do have some good connections in the government. You are well connected with some powerful people. So my question is, do they sometimes pressure you to keep quiet, to not talk about certain topics in some of your content that you produce?
Okay, yes, let's get that part. Let's answer the question. Yes, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a full-time content creator.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we've been in the system. We've been there for a very long time when there was no even YouTube, when social media was not active. So we still got the connections. We still know people. But when I came into as an influencer, as a public figure, when I started doing content, I received a call from at least four stakeholders in Liberia. But then I was, let's say, the late we are government up to Waka government.
Former we are administration.
Former we are administration. The government over.
The former president.
Okay. So yeah. So I received calls and I visited some of my brothers and big brothers and oh man, you doing content? Yeah, I mean, listen, they are content you're doing in the country. You should be careful. Back in if you see something, you leave it, let we handle it before you can put it out there. We don't want you to, because now the way you're doing content and you come in around me, I don't want you to hear something and throw it on social media. So obviously, if you are doing content, you will get these people who come around you because they feel that you are influencer. It's a way that you can raise or how do you call it, protest against them because you got evidence, which I can tell you that I got key evidence on. I got a recording on the drugs issue with that bad person.
A recording. A cell phone recording.
Cell phone recording. Except they say, oh, this is a cell phone recording, it's not a video, so it's not a vice president voice.
So give her, I know you don't want to release the recording, but give her a gist of what you heard in that conversation.
Okay. Conversation. A president, a vice president, is saying he's not the full owner of the drugs, but the person who has the drugs in the recording, the person who has the drugs, he gave the person an advice that, hey, we're not here to destroy Liberia. Okay, so this is the only help that I can give. Take the drugs out of Liberia, but not to be sold in Liberia. So he was only trying to help that person to get the product out of Liberia, not for the product to be sold in Liberia. But one way or the other, as I said, the names that have been called, they are connections. And the government knows this connection. And the fact that his son name is into it now.
So was his son's name also mentioned in this cell phone conversation that we're talking about? And if so, which one of the sons? You know, because I think you have more than one sons, right?
The musician, Tantan.
Oh, Tantan. Okay, Tantan.
Tantan is in the musician. So listen, we go to Liberia on the New station and try to hang out with some people that we know, and we go to no stress. As I said, when it comes to the drug issue, I don't smoke, I don't drink alcohol. I have never even seen a cookie live. Just maybe through acting, get the paddles and do a little acting, but I've never seen a cookie live. But you know, if you're in the room and something is featured, you sense it. I've been to no stress. Now, no stress, they got a VIP of no stress. That is not where you want to go. First of all, they're not even going to allow you in the VIP if they know you're not in that line. So I have been at no stress VIP. And I know what it sense.
All right, before Mr. Nyanplu check out, and I have a question for him. So, Mr. Nyanplu, if you may, if you will, what did leaving power in 2024 rather than staying silent teach you about the cost of speaking truth to power?
Well, I mean, the answer to that question is based on your motivation for wanting to be in power. Now, I am a person of conscience, and I have been a very loud advocate before I had the opportunity to go to the government. And because they did not trust who I am, so they decided to say, let's start here as an assistant minister. If you follow the record, I have fallen out with the minister of information where I was assigned. And before we had the opportunity to work together, we had a very good relationship from afar. I was in the media, he was working in the executive mansion as the press secretary to President Sirleaf. So relationship was very cordial. When we had the opportunity to work together, our philosophy was worlds apart. You understand? Our philosophy was worlds apart. So I do not regret leaving because because now, if I look at what is happening at the Ministry of Information now, even if we did not have the confusion in 2024, I would not have had the motivation to continue to stay there. I worked in the government just 3 months after I did not want to be in the position anymore.
Wow.
Just 3 months. Just after 3 months of working in the government, I did not have the. I mean, talk to close friends who and I were always having conversations about what's going on in the government. I didn't want to be there now because I don't want to be brain dead. Okay. If you work in a position where your brain is not stimulated every time, it kills you.
I can relate.
And yeah, that's not the kind of person.
Yep.
That's not the kind of person I am. I want my brain to be stimulated every time. I want to try out new stuff. I actually went there to do stuff. But people who went there did not go there to do stuff. That's why they are still there right now. What they went there for, that's what they are getting. Just to sit in a position with the knee, do nothing for the people of Liberia, get a salary at the end of every month, and everything is good. That's it. For me, that's not who I am. So I don't regret it. And like I said, I came up close with the conversations that were held at a very high level of political power. I saw what people are motivated about. I heard everything, and that's why my conclusion has been is the government of Liberia, as it is situated, is an organized criminal syndicate
Wow.
that has perpetrated unspeakable crimes against the people of Liberia. And we need a commission of inquiry on everybody who has worked in government from 1840 who is still alive from 1847 up until Jesus Barker time to give account of what they're doing, that they've been doing it. That's the only way I believe our country will ever live. I hope we ever have the opportunity that you will have a new breed of government of progressive Liberians to run the government. If you continue to have the same breed of people who have nothing to do, who have no skill to make a living, to continue to be in government, the country will continue to be the way it is. And I hope, and that's the reason why those who are in power, they will fight tooth and nail to make sure that people who are progressive thinkers do not enter government. Yeah, do not enter government. So I up till now, I still can't ask myself the question: how could we? And I have to end on that. How could we? And I'm part of them. How could we
I mean,
have
everyone.
have imagined? How could we have possibly believed that somebody who was already almost 80 years old could transform Liberia? I really can't get it.
That's
How
true.
could we have really believed that Mr. Barker of the Tubman era? I can tell you, I'm going to make this blanket statement. Anybody who has worked in government from Tubman era up to now doesn't have the right motivation in the 21st century to deliver economic prosperity. That is the burning desire of the people of Liberia. But Sako, what are people doing? They're following the same blueprint and they're building road, building schools. Maybe they send it on drug to the hospital, they put it on
Mr.
chairs,
Nyanplu, Mr.
they put
Nyanplu.
it on chairs in the schools. They say they pay the regular rising service, they pay a 07 salary. I don't know what they increase it. There are if you the maximum, the upper bound of the number of people who are active in the civil service, that's 66,000. Liberia's population are more than 5 million.
Yes.
What are you doing for the 5 million Liberians to get money in their pocket and put food on their table? Does anybody think about it? Will it be Augustine Gaffon, who was minister before under Ellen Johnson Sirleaf? Liberia was still poor. Under Joseph Boakai, Liberia is still poor.
On
Liberians
corner.
are still gasping. How they will find money to put in their pocket and food on their table every day. These people are using our people poverty to weaponize it against them and to use it to continue to be in power and subjugate them. The people have to hear the message.
That is really sad. But then, just before you leave, very quickly, in my article or my commentary, I talked about the need for Liberians to break this cycle of repeatedly putting old wine in new bottles. So now you are part of a new political movement now to shake the system, right? So how does your party, the Party for the People, plan to break the old wine in new bottles cycle?
We are proposing, Mr. Sako. We are a proposed political party now. Mr. Sako, take for example, I said Mr. Sako be the Minister of Information if we were to win power.
I'm
Mr.
flattered.
Sako, I know your expertise. Maybe your motivation now is not to work in government, but Mr. Sako, we need to transform the country. You take over the Ministry of Information, let's transform communication in Liberia across the country. What would stop that, Mr. Sako? The tragedy of governance in Liberia, and like I said, maybe I have to say this so that just for the record, so that Liberian people can hear it. And our message will go far and wide. The tragedy of governance in Liberia today is this. How do we pursue political power? We run elections, right? We have political parties. We go seek votes. We run an election, we win. Now, for you to effect the structural changes that the country needs to transform, Mr. Sako, you need human beings, people. Our constitutional setup says for you to be in a serious position of power, the president must appoint you. The president, how does he appoint you? You need presidential confidence to be appointed by the president. You need presidential confidence. And what is in that? I think you've heard that phrase before, right? Presidential confidence. Presidential confidence. What is presidential confidence? The president knows you, and I want this to go on the record because I have studied this up close. The president knows you, the president knows your work. That's the first tier for people who are going to get in positions of power. The second tier is the president knows somebody who knows you and knows your work. That's the second tier of people who are getting in positions of power. Now, here is the power. Here is the catch-22 situation. Or I wouldn't say paradox. It's not paradox, but here is the dilemma. The president knows you, knows your work, but you are not competent for the role. You have outsized influence on the president or on the government. You can tell the president, say, even though you never graduated high school, you say, Mr. President, I want to be Minister of Finance. Because of your influence, the president put you there. That is a tragedy. Because the country will not get, because like bro, we go nowhere with somebody who graduated from high school will be Minister of Finance. Or say, I want to be Minister of Education, because you can just walk to the president and say, I want this, and the president gives. That's an outside influence. So the president knows you, he knows your work, and you have outside influence, but you are not competent for the job. So that's a tragedy. The country doesn't benefit. The president knows you, knows your work, but you are competent. And you have outside, you have good influence, and you can go exactly where you want. The country benefits. The problem here is when you have the president is one person, he's limited. So the amount of people he has to appoint to put good people in positions of power, that's going to be based on the second tier. That is, the president knows somebody who knows you, or the president knows somebody who knows somebody who knows you. At the end of that, at the end of that tier line, competence must come into play for the country to benefit. If in that equation there is no competence, the country suffers. The country suffers. Now, the people whom the president knows, or who the president knows and somebody knows the other person, the majority of those people may not be competent. They may be competent, the country benefit, but they may not be competent, or they may not have the right motivation. That's a tragedy. So until you can have a leader who will say, okay, sometimes maybe somebody's position will put it out for vetting, but then you say you will be politically suicidal because public position you get vetted. You just need to put people in position just because you give people a job because political
Based on
political payout,
patronage and
political patronage and all of that. So that is why we go have a difficult situation with governance. But now, if Liberian people will one day, by the grace of the Almighty, give us progressive minds to think to say we want to transform this country, I will have. Take for example, when Mr. Baka was coming to power, and there were two vacancies created. The LRA Controller General had a Commissioner General had died, so Mr. Weah had nominated somebody for the role. Say, I think we're nominating Samora Wolo Colley or something. And there was another position that should be a tenure position. The Chief Justice, I think it was the Chief Justice, yeah. Or the Chief, I think it was I don't quite remember, but there was one vacant role on the Supreme Court. It was a role on the Supreme Court. Joseph Nangbe had died. And Mr. Weah was nominating his Minister of Justice to be the justice on the Supreme Court. This is where I'm driving at. Mr. Sako,
yes,
if I were president, I told him, I said, if I were president, I will allow we are nominations for the LRA Commissioner General to go through. I will not say because the men are from United Party, I will follow the law. Mr. Buya still had 30 days in power and nominated somebody. You confirm the man. We will work.
But I think people argue that, lame duck.
I know that I agree with that's what they're saying. But Mr. Sako, if we have to build a country beyond party lines and based on competence, Mr. Sako, we should be willing to work with everybody. Have an open mind.
Yeah.
We should not work with only those who are from our political party.
Yes.
Then we're not going to get a job done. We're just going to form a clique. You are going to create a bubble around you of yes men.
Like
you are not going to be open to contrary views. If you if you are only comfortable working with people who are from your political party,
that is the problem.
the country will suffer because using that strategy. So, like I was saying, until we get to that point that we have an open mind, that we want to work with everybody, and competence becomes the bottom line of people who are taking on positions of power, our country will continue to struggle. And we hope that Liberian people will see it. And that's what we're going to be campaigning for.
Honorable.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, my man. We'll talk again.
Honorable, before you leave,
they got still want to steal some of your time.
Yeah, before you leave, please. So let's say these are normal cycles that are going on in Liberia. When we know, as you said, you told Mr. Sako that if your party having the win, and then you know how capable he is and what he does the best. And you having to bring him to Liberia and say, hey, take this position and make the entertainment, or not entertainment, that's my area, and make the media.
Well, entertainment part of it, man. Entertainment part of it, because in that Ministry of Information,
so,
in
Liberia, we are seeing a number of occasions where they bring people from the United States that we know capable for the job. And then when these people come to Liberia and they start to work, within the same office, people say, oh, you want to change something. Oh, you want to bring down your American something. And then at the end, the person who you see was so capable has to.
You need a president. You need a president who will put his feet down to do stuff.
So,
you need a leader who will put their foot down and say, we are here to do this.
And you think we have never, from 1847 to now, we are never getting no president at the bottom of that problem.
The political will has been our problem, my brother. The political will.
And you see that my brother said,
Mrs. Salif tried in the first term. Mrs. Salif tried in the first term. In the second term, she let her guard down.
Yeah, because she knew she was not going back for the third term. There was no third term.
Because in the first term, she had all the international eyes were on her.
Yep. So, but there's one of the things that was Liberia.
But guess what now? She had all the international eye on her. Who she brought to be central bank governor and Mel June.
Mel Jones. This
Mel June came from IMF. He had PhD in economics. But after Mel June term expired, when she and Mel June fell out because June wanted to be president, who she put there? And I made them weeks. And we have BA and something.
Yeah, all right. So what will you say about, I think you posted something like that. Whether, like now we hear.
I mean, interview me, I can't go.
Please, just we're speaking about our politics regarding our countries, right? And people will come and say, man, go and do your entertainment and forget about this, leave politics business. What you say about this, Liberia? What you think that is actually affecting our country, that people try to limit you to certain things that they see you doing and feel that you should forget about politics?
My brother, you see, the problem here is that our people are not putting good thinking into trying to develop a country. Now, maybe you are still holding me here, but like I said, along with Mr. Sako, we put a lot of thoughts into what's going on in our country. Now, you see, I'll just talk about a few things. First thing is that you got to look at what's happening in Europe and America, where the people are making the economy to work, my brother. You know what saturates the society? That money.
Sure.
You cannot run a capitalist economic system when people don't have access to money. Now, the system is built in such a way that they know that people will not always have money to get what they want, or to test out their ideas, or to make investment. So the financial system works. That's why they get credit card. They get access to loan. So you get an idea, you say you want to invest in the team. You should be able to go to a bank, you put a business plan down, and it will get you money, go invest in it. When I was in graduate school, in my economics class, there are a couple of things. Everything get insurance. Now, the reason why we're struggling with poverty because we're risk averse. Why are we risk averse? We are risk averse because the little resources we have, we don't want to take risks with it. Now, that's where the market for insurance can come in. Now, if you go to the bank, you got a good idea, and we make it, but that's what part of the plan we're having. We're saying that the government alone cannot continue to hold the people hostage to economic development. These banks that are in Liberia, we're going to make it mandatory as a matter of law that every Liberian that has a business idea must have access to capital, and the government will be the sovereign guarantee. The government will be the sovereign guarantee. You
Yep.
get an idea, you want investing in a team, we'll say, we'll set up an office either the president office or the ministry of finance. Go there, defend your business idea, and go to a bank, and we will make it mandatory. As a requirement for you to operate in Liberia, you must get Liberian loan.
Yes.
Because a capitalist economic system cannot work when the people don't have access to capital. That's why we poor. Because everything that we need to get, we must have the money first. And not everybody got the money first. Ideas are in it. People get ideas, but they get money. You think everything that happening in Silicon Valley, the people get money there? The people who are inventing, they get the money to do everything, to test their idea and everything. Go read a story about Elon Musk and how they started to put a big company there. They had a federal grant to get money.
Okay, so now you bring me to where
You get the point? They get the money. I mean, you keeping me here. My time going.
Let me just tell you exactly what you just spoke about. You bring me to what about that?
Access to capital is very serious.
Always say, right? So do you believe that everything is the government?
Yeah. It should start with the government.
Thank you. That's a question I want to ask, because there are a lot of people that always say, oh, most especially.
Let me tell you what I'm going to do as president. Let me tell you what I'm going to do first.
1 minute. We are in the diaspora always say this. The Liberians are so lazy. We're referring to the ones in Liberia. Everything they wanted to be the government. You need to do this. And then I'm going to a debate with one of my friends and told him everything has to be the government. The government has to set the platform for people to follow. And that's exactly what you just said. If I lay a business proposal down right now and go to the bank and you see everything is legit, I will get the money. That cannot happen in Liberia.
No,
so that's a very fine point you're talking.
Yeah. So the point is that now, Mr. Gafford, at the start of the year, he said we have a 1 billion budget. This is a half year gone already. Why they spending 1 billion budget? And they're stealing the money? Why they spending 1 billion budget? No, brother. When I set out on 1 billion budget as president, the 7 already taking care of the unpaid that money going. I want to worry with the people first because they already get money on salary. I will start thinking about how we will put money in the vast majority of Liberian people pocket. So I would sit down with that money, and then we'll be saying now, if the government second get a loan without the banks, they say we are the sovereign guarantee. Now every Liberian that has a viable business idea, they must have access to capital. That is a requirement for you to maintain your operational license. A Liberian get viable business idea, you go to a bank, you deny them because they say they got collateral, you will lose your license to operate in Liberia.
Yes.
We'll be clear about it.
You have to be, first of all,
because the point is that when you deny the people access to capital, you are literally sentencing them to poverty.
Yeah, and that's where the Liberianization policy comes in and needs to be enforced. We need to put our people first because we have foreign businessmen in Liberia having access to loans and other things. But
they can get a loan though. They can get a loan though. They can get a loan to the foreigner. They can get a loan to the people who are in the ministerial role. When our minister, when the maybe assistant minister in the government, they were willing to give me car on loan. I tell the government buy the car, I buy my motorbike. I used to ride motorbike from Bonneville to go to Ministry of Information. When ring before I put ring code on it. They say, why the man go? They say, why the man
they say, loan it to people who work for the government.
Yeah. They say, why the man won't go get car loan? I said, I'm not coming no be sure yet. Go to be there. I'm doing it.
And small one-on-one.
And that is the reason. You see, people, that's what I'm telling you. It is the mentality of people were so surprised. Say, how they made a minister in riding motorbike kind of way?
Minister, for sure, you used to ride motorbike?
I'm telling you.
There are presidents who are riding bicycles.
I used to ride my motorbike. I'm gonna say, I did that. Listen,
The prime minister rides a bicycle to work.
Because I know how we Liberians act, right? When we have
Amen. I bought my own motorbike because the government.
Motorbike as a former minister, as a minister at that time.
Yeah, I ride motorbike.
Wow.
I buy my own motorbike.
Practical person. I mean,
I buy my own motorbike. So now when the police used to park people, they used to park me too. When they park, they say, let's see your license, let's see your registration. I give my registration and put me passing. They say, oh, I'm minister there. Look, let me tell you something. You need to go. I want to say the mentality where people go in the government. I went to the government to go serve. I don't go to do no B show.
yes.
When the government I buy the car, I'm not willing to ride. I don't ride it. I'm not going to come and tell the loan and say, what I tell loan upon the car. So that's the point, brother. I'm telling you, you need people who will sit down and think and try to make Liberian people life better. And now the thing that the government are doing that, they just reading from template.
Yeah. And
They just reading from template.
I did that template.
I did that template.
Did that template.
You got Minister of Finance, you can't IMF meeting, you can't Washington all day. You seek adulation from IMF and World Bank. You can't sit down and think out of the box and say, how you put money in Liberian poor packet.
You've been
Man, I
going
see
to
you, man. Have enjoy the rest of the show. We'll have an opportunity to talk again. I beg you.
All right, man.
Happy Father's Day to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Father Day, that was, journalist, activist, and now political leader, presidential aspirant Matthew Nyanplu.
Mr. Nyanplu.
He's
Mr.
out. Yeah. All right, so we'll take this one. We're still trying to get our man John Mawolo on. John Mawolo tells me that he's still setting up his computer, no background. Yes, it's okay, Mr. Mawolo. Come on. This is getting interesting. We have a lot of followers waiting to hear from you, Mr. Mawolo. We'll take this one, and when we come back, hopefully Mr. Mawolo will be with us live. I see, there he is. Mr. John Mawolo, welcome back to the show. Mr. Mawolo, can you hear me? That's our national security and foreign policy expert, Mr. John Mawolo, still trying to get himself situated over there. He's coming live from the East Coast, somewhere in Maryland. Mr. Mawolo.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Happy Father's Day, sir.
Thank you, and happy Father's Day to you too, and the other guy. I don't see his name.
Oh, that's Eric. Eric Nimely.
How you doing, Eric?
Thank you very much, Mr. Martin.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
And earlier we had Mr. Presidential aspirant John Matthew Nyanplu, who has just exited. He has to take care of some personal matter. But we'll take this one, and when we come back, Mr. Mawolo, we will, you will join the conversation.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. And welcome to 1847 Liberty. We stream live from Minnesota, USA.
Decrease. It decreased.
Look, if you recruit 5,000 young people in the military with a salary of $400 or above, depending on their educational level and their expertise, right?
Mm-hmm.
You recruit another 3,000 in the police. How many? That 8,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Another 3,000 in the DEA. That is 9, 10, 11,000, right?
What about the Border Patrol?
The Border Patrol, the immigration. The immigration and military, that's what I'm saying. 5,000 in the military, 3,000 in the police, 3,000 in the DEA, 2,000 in immigration. You have recruited almost 15,000. That 15,000 new jobs you have created straight. And how you will pay them? By cutting the waste.
Okay, Mr. Mawolo, that was more than an introduction. You already know who the man is. That was one of his most viral clip on YouTube. But he's back in the middle of the conversation. Anyway, we've been talking about the drug saga in Liberia. So now we're looking at promises made by Mr. Boaka less than 1 year ago when there was a big protest against drug, in the country, and the president had a elaborate plan on how to tackle illegal drug in the country. So now, if his promise that no one is protected were fully kept, what would we see right now, Mr. Mawolo?
Well, thank you. And again, happy Father's Day to all those viewing from wherever you are. Good evening, good morning, good night, wherever it is. Listen, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Everybody can say what they want. How prepared are you to do the planning to make that feasible? Boycott talks a lot because people just write things and give it to him. Most time he doesn't know what he's talking about. This old man is completely abstract from what's happening in the country. One of his people say he don't even participate in national security briefing. Really? Then who does that? It's scary when you hear the inner working of this government, and you know that it seems like they had no plan to come there. Their only plan was to win George Weah, and they have no idea on how to solve the problems because they had no plan. They say when you make no plan, you plan to fail, right? So that's what happened. And so Boyka can say all he wants. What's the plan? How he intends to implement it? When it comes to drug, that's a serious thing. These guys, they're ready to die fighting for that money. And you got to have people who are ready to die to protect it from coming into their country. But you can't be paying a man $50 and he get ready to die. So who will take care of his family? These people, DEA people, first of all, they should be psychologically tested to show where they stand, where they truly stand, get into their brains. Second thing, not only will you have to pay them high salaries, you have to insure their families, insure themselves, because they could die any day. This thing is always war. Now that you open the door to the country, they're not going to stop. It's going to be hell to stop them because there will always be somebody they can pay. The only way you can do it, you got people who are stubborn just like them, and you put in the mechanism. But we got a country that doesn't have any security. So that's an open highway. The military, the immigration, the DEA should be working together at every border point. They're not there. We saw what happened when the people went into Guinea. Zero. Whatever caused that to happen, the police, there were no information, at least as far as we know, there were no information to the government on what was going on at the borders that provoked the Guineans to first of all seize the equipment. So it just for learn what equipment was doing there. Yo, building road. Yo, building road. Look. So Liberian people gotta get serious about their own self and listen with open ears. You don't just hear things and run with it. Think about it. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. What plans are these guys? They caught, quote unquote, caught this drug something going to the airport. Up to now, how many arrests have you heard about? That means the country got no security.
15 days. It took 15 days before we got, or finally
And that's
got a
the
briefing from the
pressure.
justice minister.
That because of pressure from the public. That they even decided to talk something which is not factual.
Yeah.
You're blaming a little guy who never seen $10,000 in his life. When the hell are you going to get? I mean, what? His brain can't even go around $19 million. And that's the kind of people you're catching. The big guys who involved, you don't want to touch them. So definitely these people are not serious about solving the drug problem. They are totally unserious about solving the problem. In fact, they see it as a money, as an income generation for them. Because since the country is an open highway, just let them come through. The dangerous thing is that they're putting it on a European airline. Can you imagine these guys got the audacity to try to put this thing on the Belgian airline? That means there's a whole syndicate here. That means when they get to London or when they get to Belgium, because I don't know about the plane flying straight from Liberia to London. It goes back to Brussels and then they go to London. So the whole idea about the plane, they were putting it on it to go to London, how? So is that a syndicate working in Belgium too?
So Liberia is just a transit point, maybe.
Yeah, Liberia is a transit point, but the transit point is directed by whom? Because since the planes don't leave Liberia and go directly to London, that means there got to be somebody in Belgium.
Yes.
Who's receiving it and putting it on another flight to go to London, and there's somebody there to receive it too.
Yeah, and yeah.
You understand?
It's a whole network. Yep.
Exactly. And it seems like, from what I'm observing, it's not the first time they've done this. Just that it's being tested with smaller quantities. And the quantity keep increasing as they get successful. So, just for our own security of our people, where suppose the Belgian people say they're planning on coming to Liberia because you're trying to criminalize them. Do you know how much it will cost to get to Liberia? It's already expensive as it is. Do you know how much it's going to cost to get to Liberia if those guys do that? Now our passport is stained, as if it's not stained enough.
Oh yes.
With drug dealers now, with drug transporters now.
That's a huge stigma, man. That's a big stigma on us.
We travel the world, and they got to check everything of us, looking at what trousers, bend us down, do anything, because that's what we deserve.
Yeah.
Government that sit down and don't even take none of that into consideration. And they're hiding people. Look how much Martin Cully has been able to expose, where the government acting as if they can see it and they don't know where to look for it. The airport got CC camera all over the place. Somebody brought drug and you don't know. Let me escape the airport. How that drug got into the country, or do we have a cocaine plantation now in Liberia?
No, we don't.
How you know?
At least I don't know.
I think so.
Let me correct myself right there.
Mr. Nyanplu.
Mawolo.
Mr. Mawolo, I'm sorry. Mr. Mawolo.
Yeah.
You asked the question, how did drugs get in? So I had the opportunity, right, to work with that was doing alien administration, to work with the United Nations as a driver. Okay, so I work with the United Nations as a driver. And let me put this out there. So, because that's a fun question. Because that question, you're not the first person to say, well, wait, are they facing drugs in Liberia? Because how this quantity of drugs about to leave Liberia and Liberia is exporting drugs. So when I was working with the United Nations as a driver, I remember, I'm not going to call his name, but let's just discuss what actually happened. It was this time I was in at the border. What's the county? Don't hold it against me if I forget the county that is closer. I mean, we were very close to the coast. So when we were coming back to Monrovia, we were on one of the trucks, but then there is no checkpoint stop any UN vehicle. So the head driver, I call him my boss at that time, he went in one of these places or the old house and they started having some conversation with a couple of guys from Nigeria. They was talking. I didn't know what they were talking about, but then I observed John as a driver. It was probably my second month. So I was basically riding with other drivers to know how it works. So I had no say in it. But then what I saw, these guys started bringing bags, at least 10 bags, like the big buckwheat bags, and putting them on the truck. And I asked the other driver, man, what is that? He said, well, man, reach moreover, you'll figure it out. And this thing I'm telling you, the president, Madam said, was in that same county for a program that same day. So but then it was they were called the SSI, the triple S, right? SSS, something like that. The president's security. So it was one of the security guys were having a conversation with my on the head driver and the Nigerians guy and everything. So we put this bag in the truck. And we were basically driving behind the president convoy coming to Monrovia. And when we reached the Monrovia, the president, we went as far because we were going to stop it for why we have to take Singer. So we came all the way on the field where they got the where Joey built the stadium right now. That was an IE practice ground. And then we parked the truck. Wait till when they guys took the president home, one of the triple S guys came out and he got in the truck with us and we drove to his house and we offload all the bags. When we were coming back, that's when the driver told me what it was. It was weed, it was drugs. I mean, I don't think I have never seen these things with my own eye. I've seen weed, obviously, but not drugs. So yeah, and I received $30,000 Liberian dollars. That's what the driver gave me. I don't know what he gave me. First of all, I was not even expecting to receive anything because I didn't know what the operation was. But he just gave me $30,000 Liberian dollars. And I'm telling you, that's what he gives me. So if you ask the question, how these things come to Liberia, we don't have no immigration. Trust me. I'm telling you, let me get clear. That border is closed. Like when I'm into it just people.
That's exactly my point.
Yes, thank you.
That's exactly my point.
Yes,
that's no security. And the people who are supposed to be security, they hardly make anything. So everything was
that's exactly why I expect you to say it. Because I don't want to say they're not doing the work. They are doing it, but they're not making nothing.
There's
so
no motivation.
Let's be good about the security a little bit.
They're not going to risk their life for something when they could benefit from it. So what they do, especially when the person who's bringing it are one of the boss men.
There you go.
Tell me that.
They say, my man, let the thing pass. When it pass, they get in there, let thing they carry home. And the thing go. So the government knows. That's what I'm saying. The government knows how it got into the country. Unless they want to tell me there's a cocaine plantation in Liberia, they know how it got into the country. Cocaine is not like opium. Opium you can plant in your backyard. But cocaine is a whole a chemical process. To get that thing made from the leaf to the dust. All right? That factory issue. And For it to come into the country at that level, people in authority know. People in authority know. People getting their cuts. So they shouldn't try to damage these little guys who they giving little packaging like you, they give you 30,000. Then they can arrest all of y'all. Let you know about it. You know? These guys, they're the one who just got the crumbs.
We'll give you something and you will travel, then we'll call your name. After a few years, you can come back, nothing will come out of it.
Yeah, so now the government is scapegoating, they are trying to put some laymen, some ordinary employees under the bus so they can save their asses. But now, when I was reading the national drug plan that Boacat released sometime last year, I believe in August, when they had that big march against drug in the country, there was an action plan, and he talked about protecting whistleblowers, Now, how do we protect whistleblowers in security agencies, maybe the courts and communities, so they can speak without fear? Because right now, we're hearing a lot of unverified information. And some of them are from reliable sources. Some people are calling me. And they claim that there are some very powerful people in the current regime that are connected to this drug issue. But people are afraid to come out, My good friend here said he got a whole recording, but he's afraid because how do we protect people who speak up, Mr. Mawolo?
Well, you see, it comes back to the talk is cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about witness protection. Witness protection. Do you even understand the process of formulating a witness protection? You don't even have money to get to the police. They don't even, they get their pay for several months. When you say witness protection plan, you know how much money you're talking about spending? You got to ship that person anywhere that will keep them safe and for them to give information. The problem is the people who are supposed to receive the information don't want the information.
There you go.
Let's start joking with this country. The government is totally unserious about what's happening in this country. They're unserious about the people's livelihood. And so they just feel, tell the people anything. They will say 2 weeks, they will forget. And Liberian people have made it acceptable that after 2 weeks, they leave their lives behind and start talking about different things until the Liberian people start to insist and demand the government. If we don't get answer to this, nothing happening in the country until we get answer. The government take them for a joke. Because cocaine, if these guys get comfortable that this place is a cocaine highway, ask the American government how much did they spend. Did they chase these guys in the air, in a ship?
So what happened?
They even get submarine. They run in the bush. Do you know that they even gave somebody a military pilot money, millions of dollars to drop the cocaine? They get them coordinates. And when they fly into the country, they drop it and they land. No cocaine on the plane. They land and no guy go and pick it up in the bushes. That thing is a very lucrative thing. That's not poor man drug. So you see, I think about 4 cases or 6 cases talking about 19 million. Can you imagine what happened with a whole truckload? You know how many million that would be? And you think those guys there afraid to spend 50 million for a whole truckload to pass? You spend
Let
50 million.
me
The whole government will lay down on their back, and you drive the car over the route.
like exactly what you just said, right? Let me tell you how they're trying to sweep our minds from this whole cocaine. They will look for a little thing that is not even relevant and hold it so heartedly to sweep our mind. It was this content creator in Liberia who was doing her content, and she wore a police uniform, and she was drinking alcohol and posted a video, and that video went wild. Even the police, everybody, social media took it. So that lady has to come up to apologize. That it was just a content who was doing our content, and I wore the uniform. I'm not a police officer. Okay, so I'm sorry. And they wanted to hold it. Even Spoon posted it, and I went on a Spoon and I commented. I think my comment was, "You owe nobody apologies. You're just doing your content." Okay, so there are more important things that is going on in the country that require immediate attention than the police focusing their mind on somebody wearing uniform to do content, which of course, it might not be 100% right to wear the police uniform to do content. But we got something that is more important than that. That till now, the police director have not even spoken a word, but he ready to speak on something that somebody is doing content. So exactly what you said. They try to drift our mind from something. So because Liberian people quick to forget about things, we can come out and put shout and stuff, and after a few seconds, we just let it go. We forget about it. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. But this time around, there are other people. We will go back on we will protest if that's what they want, because we'll protest. We need an answer of how our little brothers and sisters are being destroyed in the country. We need an answer. We will go back, say no to drugs. We will go back on the street.
The thing about Liberia demonstration, our people are not focused. You go in other countries, when the people are ready to demonstrate, they on it for 2-3 days, 1 week. They're not stopping.
Oh yeah, and I was just about to say that.
Our people, by the time they stay one whole day, my man, they think everyone go.
We are cowards. We are not persistent in our efforts. Let's see what's going on right now in Albania, Mr. Mawolo.
It's like we're not focused on what's happening to our lives.
We don't focus. We don't look at the long term.
If you notice that they already start saying something about some Nigerian people, what they did. I said, look at it. They're ready to carry the people all over the place now. Nigerian people. I don't care if they're Chinese people. I mind to get into my country that I elected a government to protect. I don't give a damn where the people come from.
And this thing we're talking about, Mr. Mawolo, is not coming from. It was not spotted maybe at one of those porous borders. Like with the one with Sierra Leone or Guinea or Ivory Coast, but at the airport.
Yeah, that was because they were trying to get it out now.
Yeah, when it was about to be flown out.
But Sako,
the only reason they reported it, the only reason you and I are talking about it today is because foreign intelligence, followed it and spotted it and pressured them to speak up. Interpol and I think U.S. intelligence. Yeah, that's the only reason.
The USDA always tell them when the drug is in town because the people that follow it from the source.
Yeah.
The thing that's even worse, the drug came in town bad enough, and then it went to a warehouse.
Okay.
Bad enough. So it stayed there. Telling you what, if you know anything about how country security system work, they know about it. It went to a warehouse. It stayed there for 4 days. They transported it all the way to Robertsfield in something that looking like a taxi or whatever they put it in, right? Got to Robertsfield. Now you carry your suitcase. You got your little dry fish inside. They will open that suitcase, they will check it. How come 4 cases.
That was a special shipment. Never
For it to,
yeah.
for it to even go through the back door, that's how people put arms on the plane. When they say people hijack the plane and thing, they don't. That one when I look at the people trying to make people take a shoe, checking you, this and that. The people who come in too bad, they don't pass there.
They're not going down there.
So you're wasting people time. That's just job creation, I think, because you're wasting people time. The people who want to do it, they will not pass there. They will come through the back. So my thing here is, if these people, I mean, they insult to us alone, but then you be careful with that spoon thing. Stanton gets information. He's inside the government. They gave him information to help propagate things and disturb the minds of the people. So he come out pretending like he's against. Then he's the same one will come down later and say, oh, the truth is this and that, this and that. And because you believe that he was really
against,
against, you believe now that, oh, it's not that serious. Or is this other guy from Sierra Leone who gave it to the Ghanaian guy, then the Ghanaian guy gave it to the Nigerian guy. But the pilot on the plane, and he got he didn't know about it, but the air hostess wanted to put it, they would make some of that story, and then the poor people will believe it. Stanton is a propagandist for the Unity Party, and people got to understand that. All that noise he make that hogwash.
But we heard this in North, Stanton make this in North when CBC was in power. Keep CBC out of power. Now, Unity Party is in power, and he also trying to keep Unity Party out of power. So basically, it's Stanton just doing this thing for his own. If he can get it in, then he try to see how best he can use his platform to get you out.
Okay, guys, can we talk about collective anger? Because from what we see, what we have right now, this situation, like it was just less than 1 year ago, last August, when this president was so passionate, making promises, no uniform.
Come against Zago.
Yeah.
You said when the president was so what?
He was part. He appeared to be passionate.
No. You got to add an adjective to that thing.
Yeah.
But he was pretending to be so passionate.
Granted, that's just a premise. I'm coming to the real meat of the issue. So this guy, with all the passion, that we saw, at least what we saw, we don't know their intention. We don't know how intentional they were. And they were so loud about this drug thing, and fast forward just about a year or less than a year, we have this big bust. We're talking about multi-million-dollar stuff. And you take 15 days before you can come up to say something. Even the legislature, the House of Representatives that we always bad mouthing, we say, oh, they're doing nothing. They were angry that the executive wasn't doing anything, to address the Liberian people, to update us, to keep us in the know. So they were causing all these delays, because they were delaying for the sole purpose of covering up. So now, they are continuously failing us like this, Liberians. Where is our collective anger? Just yesterday, we were so angry about Yega Koluba talking about, speaking his mind, and everybody was like, he is not a patriotic person. And majority of the country, if you had done a poll that time, more than 60-70% of the country, the populace, supported the government in removing Yega Koluba because they thought, oh, he was not a patriotic person. But they are not angry about what's happening right now. They don't understand the ramification of drug, in that quantity being let loose in a country, even the reputational damage on our country that you are saying our passport, will be degraded now. You see? So where is our collective anger? And that's what I keep preaching on the show every day, episode after episode. Where's our collective anger? Look at Albania. We see in other countries, people are really taking their country, the leadership seriously, right? Accountability seriously. Albania, they got away and signed a deal with the most powerful family in the world to develop a protected land, a protected natural space. These people show that they were angry. And we are seeing it right now. A consistent, sit-in. We don't see that in Liberia.
I would say something very radical.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been saying this for a while. When you come to what you define a country to be,
Liberia is not the
exactly. When you come to what you define a country
It's
to
not a country. I agree with you.
You got no security. You got no money. You can't feed yourself. You're not a country. You're not a country.
Wow.
So their whole idea, all the nonsense talk, let me tell you the first thing you do. The first thing you got to do for Liberia is bring in some money. Second thing, enforce the securities at the borders first. Pay them and demand from them what you want. Look, security work has become almost easy. They got drones, they got cameras, they got all these things. You don't have to have people there all the time, but you got to have people ready to run to where the camera shows that something is happening. And if you got a laptop, for example, every commander got a laptop. The one in Monrovia got it. The one to the border got it. The one in somewhere else got it. And the camera show the same thing. It's hard for you to have that one.
We usually say this, right? In America, they say the system don't sleep. The system don't sleep. It can be 2 o'clock in the morning. You coming from work or whatever you coming from. You're driving. All the police officers are sleeping. Everybody go to bed. Immigration. Everybody's sleeping. The system's still up. 2 o'clock in the morning, you alone driving. No car in front of you, no car behind you. You reach to the red light, you will still stop.
Automatic. Because if you don't, there will be serious punishment.
People have been programmed from.
But
if
you drive through the red light take your picture. The system don't sleep.
The system is on autopilot. Yeah. So, but gentlemen, quickly, let's acknowledge our followers. I see they are very active in the comment section, especially from YouTube. There is a guy, Ricky Young. Ricky Young, shout out to you. You have a lot here. He said Liberia is just a transportation hub. Oh, yes. And then he says Stanton is the Jerry Springer of Liberian news sensationalism. and then he talked about, the origin of the cocaine. He said in the 1800s, small amount of cocaine was in the Coca-Cola soft drink. Opium comes from poppy flowers, cocaine, show on the screen. And then here is Samuel Hollywood. Is impressed. Very interesting. Thank you, Samuel. Somebody's asking, who are these guys?
Liberian.
We are. My name is Thomas Sarko. This is my man.
My name is Eric Nimely. Daface. We are Liberian.
My senior national security and foreign affairs analyst, Mr. John Mawolo. That's what you get. Then Ben Cooper is watching, and then Somebody's talking about Fatima Bentu Sirleaf for Liberian president. You gotta pay money. That's a commercial.
All seriousness, we talk about it.
Yeah, we're not talking about that right now. And somebody is watching from Sierra Leone. Okay, that's how far our reach has extended. So thank you for watching from all the way down there in Sierra Leone. Usman Ostabar. Thank you, guys. Gentlemen, I'm back to you now. I'll turn it back to you. Okay. Mr. Mawolo, were you about to?
Yeah. So what I'm saying that is the country is not ready. And the kind of leaders we're choosing got no idea. Let me tell you something. I was just contemplating the other day. To fix Liberia, we don't need no more politicians. We need technocrats. We need technocrats to fix what the politicians are damaged. And we need technocrats who got something to lose. Let me tell you something. In this country, for example,
that's a good word. Who have something to lose?
In this country, for anybody holding any kind of government post, and see it as some just foolish person who are doing nothing. If you're concerned about your country, you want the best of you, because you're facing a world that don't give a damn if you're stupid or not. They're going to get the best out of you for themselves. Look at the concession agreements that we signed. That we slave. If you go to the concession table as a slave in your mind, and you see some kind of person sitting down there and telling you this and that, and you sacrifice your country, people are exporting $1.6 billion of gold, and you're getting only 43 million, they should execute those people who signed that kind of bill.
I couldn't agree more.
You know, I mean, that is, you might well get, and then what I'm hearing, that the Boka government calling B Mountain and telling them they can take the rest of the money that they give in Liberia and they want to electrify the area. I think that came out by me here area. Now, there's people who got no idea about how finances work, how money work, and how the world works. Because they got no other idea. The only thing they think about is begging. If IMF, World Bank don't get it in, they, look, God bless that country with more than enough. If we put the right people in place, Liberia got no need. Look at Burkina Faso today. The boy refused to take the people loan, and he using the money from her country. Now, these people, we go to school every day, and we learn how these things operate. And you still move from there and believe that these people are there to help you. These people are there to seek their people's interest, and I don't blame them. But you should be there to seek your people's interest. But you know how you do that? The first thing you got to have is security. The first thing you got to have is security. And security means you got money to pay them. Right? Then every other thing can happen in the country.
Yeah.
Because if we got an open border where people are just passing things up and down, and the government want to pretend like they don't know. They know. But they're benefiting. The kind of myopic kind of mindset they got. The man transport 19 million. He gave you 10 million. Or no, he can't give you 10 million or make you crazy. He gave you 2 million.
I'm not 19.
You're going to $1 million.
He gave you 2 million. He gave you 2 million. And then you think you big boy now. The
Yeah.
next day
You
you
have
go
a
calabash, you fold out the whole table and tell everybody to drink. Listen, they got a joke, right? During the interim government time, Chancellor, Vice President, interim Vice President, then they had some kind of money to eat. And then they want to divide the money. So the big guys were saying how they would divide it. And then somebody said they must give the guy who was president $10,000. Chancellor said, for what? How you get a man $10,000? You want me to man crazy?
yeah.
What a man $1,000? And that's what they did. He said the man was so happy. He was telling. In fact, he used to call Chancellor Chief. He said, thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Then Chancellor traveled and brought one suit and one shoe for him. He came to Chancellor office to tell him thank you. So I told you, the guy here, he gave him money like that, he will go crazy. And that's the kind of people we keep choosing for our country. Our country needs people who are exposed to the world, who know how the world works. And until we get out of this illusion that the person, we got to know the person, who you know. The best of us don't live in that country. You will never know them because you don't got money to pay them. They got their family to upkeep. The best of us don't live there. It will be hard to know them. They got, the runway in Atlanta that crosses the highway, the airport runway, Jackson Airport in Atlanta, that crosses the main highway. You know who built that thing? The Liberian engineer. And he worked in Liberia one time. They knew runway they got at Robert's feet. He built it. But that man, he can't live in Liberia. Here, right? They got scientists, they got lawyers, they got doctors. Nehemiah Cooper's daughter, she was one of the advisors to Barack Obama in the White House.
See, in the Western world, in the Western world, when somebody is trying to take position, when somebody is trying to get a state position, the first thing they look at, what have you done for the community? Because what have you done when you were not in power?
Exactly.
How much law?
How do you achieve by yourself?
I don't know if it is how we're looking, right? Where we gotta see where if you're not on the ball, you see the game, right? If you're not on the ball, so the two people playing the checkup, and you make sure give them minutes, you're going to go king. Now they give you the checkup, but you sit down. You don't even know how to give one seed to eat two seeds. So is that how we're looking? Because if we look at Darius Dillon, all the things that Darius Dillon said when he was running for that senatorial position, if these things was going to be implemented, I think Liberia have taken another step. But everything that Darius Dillon said when he was running for senator, since Darius Dillon became a senator, we can see nothing.
No, but that's the mistake. That's the mistake.
And these are things that other guys said, but Darius Dillon get a rehabilitation center. I said, listen, let me tell you something. If you haven't seen the world, you will never understand what's going on in Liberia.
Yeah.
Darius Dillon is paying 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartments. That tomorrow, if you're taking from power, all the place was going on rent. Rehabilitation center, that man paying 2 bedrooms apartment. Darius Dillon is the only man paying library. Look at the library. That is an apartment.
Yeah,
that tomorrow,
yeah,
if you're in a position, you will keep this place.
Let me say something here, my brother.
Yeah.
The mistake we make as a people, and especially this war even made us worse, right? We keep on looking for nobodies to tell us about somebody. You understand? Darius Dillon never held any position where he was meaningful. He never did anything. He worked as chief of staff in a legislature. But Darius Dillon know exactly how it runs. So what he was saying is what the people wanted to hear.
Yeah.
Because you can't do it alone. That's why when they be telling somebody who running for office, you need to join, you need to go in the Senate, you need to go do what? To go learn what? To how to be corrupt? Because you alone will not make a difference. The only place you can make a difference in that country is in the presidency. And from there, you can even change the legislature. Because you can tell the people, I want you to vote for this person if you're serious to let the country go right. Look, that country has to be overwhelmed with power.
Yes.
And good power. Power who wants to do something. You overwhelm the legislature, you overwhelm the judiciary, overwhelm all of them. And bring in the people who got something to lose. Because when people got something to lose, they can't afford to do stupid stuff. They can't afford to do stupid stuff. You know? But when people got nothing, nobody know them. Then just become a labyrinth. Oh man, after 2 weeks they will forget. Look at all the people they can be clapping behind, calling the other one rich, the other one rich. How the person got rich? And you saw them right there. This person had nothing. And all of a sudden they get millions. And you don't, it don't anger your standard to go and line up in front of them to beg them.
Yeah.
You know, and until we start voting out of reason, voting for competency, capability, and ability. It ain't got to be your friend. It ain't got to be who you know. It ain't got to be your relative. But those three things will make Liberia better, thus making all of us better. Because when that country is working, you don't need, I'm in this country. I don't need to know the senator, the mayor, or the governor of my state to get a job.
No.
All I got to be is qualified.
I don't need connections. Yep.
That's all I need. It's because the people country works. So what's wrong with our country working? You fly into Liberia, a 179-year-old country. You see one very rare road passing in the bushes. That way, that you see when you're looking down from the plane.
Oh no, you don't.
You know, it's like, really?
When I'm flying to Liberia, when I'm picking up from where country, our state.
Building road. What road are you building?
You know,
this development that you're talking about. Huh? Somebody build a house, no bathroom inside, no bathroom, no running water, and they get a man to put it on Facebook.
Yeah, no standard, no.
You know what I mean? Do you know that the whole world looking at this thing?
No exposure, and this is the kind of behavior or attitude that the powers that be take advantage of, and this whole mindset, this notion that if somebody is running for office, they must build a structure somewhere, they must build a bridge, or they must build a hospital. That is so messed up. It's twisted. That's not how it works.
I tell you that the people who voting don't know what they're voting for.
Yeah, they don't know. That is not how democracy works. In a due democracy, when it says looking at somebody's track record, that track record has nothing to do with the person giving token donations, or doing some kind of massive infrastructure project in the district. No, that track record has to do with honesty. That track record has to do with excellence in their respective fields of specializations. If this person was a banker, was he an honest banker? Was it excellent?
How many of the people that they vote for are professional?
You look at the person professional. No public official is responsible to erect, structures, public buildings in it. That's not how government works. But people got this whole concept of government so twisted, and that's why the people keep playing on it. That's why you see Dylan will go build some kind of makeshift center, and somebody will start hailing him as a big man, philanthropist. Yeah, so they come to power, they steal a lot of money, and then they start doing token donations, and then even the journalists. I was even talking to one of our editors the other day. I said, man, why are you guys writing any kind of story? Why are you calling this guy a philanthropist? This man is a government official. This guy is a government official. He goes to work and go give $30,000 for scholarship. And then the reporter is writing, philanthropic.
Have you seen the picture?
I was telling this editor, I said, man, we should have some workshop for your reporters, man. Like, if somebody is in power, this man just came to government less than 2 years ago, right? He's donating, he's giving, awarding scholarships at the university level. The first thing you need to ask is, as a journalist, ask him for his line of work prior to, the line of business he was involved with. Prior to becoming a government official. How did he acquire such amount of money, right? Nothing. We don't want to know where the money comes from.
But we cannot track these things.
We don't want to know. You don't have to track, but you know what somebody works.
Sure.
Everybody know that Eric has a construction company.
Yeah.
You understand that? And Eric works in America and he worked hard to build the houses.
Sure.
Okay? But nobody knows where Edwin Snow worked before becoming so wealthy. Nobody knows, except the government. Nobody knows what worked before becoming president. Yeah, but that doesn't make him rich automatically.
Representative of what?
Yeah.
3 times?
Yeah. So this is where I'm driving there, gentlemen. So until our people start to understand this, we are not going anywhere. Because the reason why you look at people's track record in their respective fields of specialization is that if this guy was good managing 20 people or 40 people in the private sector, when you bring him to a ministry and you give him ministerial job or making of a manager, he's able to transfer that professional experience from one sector to another. That's what education and experience do to you, right? That's what it does. So we have to really get this thing straight. If this man was working in the bank, the private bank, and you look at his track record, if it was clean, you bring him to the central bank or to Ministry of Finance, you expect that he will transfer the same professional experience to make the finance ministry.
But they say the best way to determine future performance is past performance.
Past performance.
But why do you think people do background checks?
And this is the same reason why in the private sector, that's why the private sector is always effective than most, public institutions. People, before you are hired, Mr. Mawolo, they streamline you. They ask for your resume. And they also call, they also call, like, I just got a new job recently here in the U.S. It's a municipal job. And during the hiring process, they hire the municipality, the city, they hire a third-party company to conduct the background checks. That is, if you fake or falsify a resume, you're gonna get busted. Yeah. So these guys are going to conduct a thorough, a research on your resume that you presented. They will call all the places that you say you work, and they will verify.
The first thing, job where I put on my resume, and found something that I didn't even put on my resume.
With that kind of system, I mean, you are setting yourself up to succeed for success. But because I see in the current government now, most of the guys that are in our government were people who are sitting on similar platforms like what we have now in the US and other places, just cursing other people on behalf of the current president. And because of that, that's what he considers loyalty. and he rewarded them with jobs. And we know a lot of the guys in the government right now are not even qualified. They have no business being to the places they are, but only because they were online cussing other people on behalf of the current president. So, they earned his loyalty, right? So he trusts them with huge government entities to run.
When you're talking about our country and our people, the unseriousness of the people in the country for their own good. You saw what somebody just wrote. Fatima Bintou Salif, next president of Liberia.
Running campaign.
That kind of person, those are the people that got people they sit behind them to listen to them. You know why? Because they're your friend, because they're your relative, because they're your. Even Fatima knows that she's not qualified to be president. Why you even thinking it?
Yes, we really got to wake up.
Listen, this Joseph Boga old man, for example. Joseph Boga said when he was vice president, he went abroad when they were saying that he didn't do nothing. He said he went abroad one time and brought, I think, 20 BMWs for the police.
BMWs?
Liberia people bought that. He went to Italy and the Italian government gave him 20 BMW for the police, right? And he brought it. So there are three questions. There are three questions in that kind of thing. But Liberian people took it and put it on their head. Yeah, the man brought cars for the police. Nobody asked where are those cars. Show me the carcass of those cars.
You know, we are so limited. We are limited. A little thing can fool our eyes.
Italy fabricates cars, but they don't fabricate BMW. So why would you go to Italy for them to give you BMW? That alone tell you that lie.
Yeah, but does the police need BMW cars to operate?
Wait now.
Italy is a luxury brand.
Italy can give you Fiat. They can give you Alfa Romeo.
Fiat is
they can give you Ibiza. They can give you Fiat. But they will never give you BMW because they don't fabricate BMW.
Yeah, and it's a luxury brand. You know, they're making Fiat, of course. And
why would somebody get Liberia BMW for the police?
For police.
They can't even mention Toyota.
When they raise a lot of money, they don't even do that.
So the whole story was lie, but nobody wanted a question.
Yeah, you said it, Mr. Mawolo. You said it. When these people come into power, they tell the citizen what they want to hear. They bring rights, they bring all the rhetorics and everything, all the fake news, and people buy the news. Yeah, because I mean, people definitely these guys, like when this whole election was going on, I tell people, like a few people that I talk to, I like, let's say Eric is in this position. Okay. I was vice president because this is why people were. This is one of the defense. This man was vice president to early. He never had power. Okay, so I'm a vice president to you, Mr. Mawolo. I don't have power. If I tell you, Mr. Mawolo, let's go and build bridges, and you said, no, we're not building bridges. I can do anything. I'm a vice president. But let's get this clear. If I tell the president or the government, let's build hospital, and the president says, no, we can't be hospital, I go back to my village and tell the people, I advocated for the government to come and build hospital, and they refuse.
And they will lose it.
I can't afford hospital, but this is why I can afford for your or drugstore. That makes you to understand that, we'll get a Bible and say the turtle want to slap our hand short. So that alone makes us to know that, yes, this man really want to carry on the development, but you don't have the power.
Let me correct
this. There's a man who sat in power for 12 years, have not done anything for his county, for Liberia at all. And all you have to say for his defense was, I was a vice president. There's a man who served 12 years, let alone leave the rest of the years, who only counted the 12 years as vice president. After serving 12 years of vice president, the same Stentor and what's his name? Stanton Waterspoon and what's the other political bonbon that been passing around from party to party? Oh, how you call him?
Costa.
Thank you.
Oh, let us not call names.
So these things guys came off and they was
no, I mean like the nickname that he used, it's not necessary.
These guys came up there and they were feeding the president, the president now. And he came out and said he was taking loan from bank to survive. There's a man that 12 years could not even play his own future, his own retirement. And there's the man you trust the whole country with and think he can take the country to another level.
That's so messed up, man.
You think he can take it to another level. But we say the thing that and I tell people, this going election, I tell people, hey, we all feel we are government who have delivered a lot to Liberia. And there's a lot of lapses. We see it. Joshua, I think developed, he didn't carry on our expectation. Okay? But he might not be the right person to be put back. Even if we're taking Weah out of it, the substitute cannot be Bwaka. I told people, Weah might not be capable to be president.
Well, that's the problem, my brother.
So that's the problem that when people put themselves into.
The first law is that they keep on making people believe. That
I'll let Mr. Mawolo land with that, yeah.
They say the vice president has no power. That's a lie. The vice president is the president of the Senate. Your job there is to influence government policy.
Yes.
All right? That you're under power to influence government policy. The Senate, the president send a policy. You receive it. You give it to the pro tem. You say, I want you to discuss it. But the president is very interested in... You, the vice president, you make sure that the Senate pass that law.
You have that leverage, that lobbying leverage.
The lie that Bwaka told Liberian people that Ellen didn't use him, he was just sitting down there. Ellen sent this man twice to represent her at the United Nations. You want to tell me that somebody who don't want to use you will send you to that world stage to represent them? She sent him to the White House to represent her. He was given the 21-gun salute met by the president to represent her. That's somebody who don't want to use you. Bwaka was in charge of the agriculture department. Or I think he was in charge of 6 ministries, including the group of 77. All of those things failed. None of them produced any results. And then the man come from there and tell you that you are just a race car park. Told them that lie. I personally told them it was a lie. If Bwaka once he did anything, let him show any result where any of the places that he ever worked, where he made any progressive change. Let him show the other report any of those places he worked, because the only place there was an other report, don't fire him for corruption. So look, our people got to understand that this thing here is not about who you like, who you like, who you know about competency.
Competence, yes.
And this person should have a track record written in black and white for you to follow.
Record.
Somebody talking.
Yes.
Everybody can talk. Let the person show their track record, and you gotta be able to go on the internet.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Put it on the internet and be able to read about this person.
Yes.
Then you look at the person's life.
I always tell people, Google my name. If you are in doubt of what I'm doing, Google my name. You know.
Then you look at the person's life and say, if that man steal money here, if I put $100 million in front of that man here, what he get that he will not steal it?
Okay.
Right? Because you can't get Kisaoli to go and get surprised that they get missing unless they go for a stomach full already.
Yeah.
You understand? So people who got something to lose are the best people to put in power because you got something to hold them back. They got their name to represent them. They got a name. Look, the nonsense that everybody can be, that's a lie. Everybody not supposed to be president.
No, not everybody.
Then everybody ain't got that kind of competency.
Nope.
It's for a few people who are capable of doing it and they do it well. The rest of the people who they just take and throw there, we see the results of what they do. Look at the Liberia. That's a leader. The one in Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
The man is he young. He could be greedy. And if you are greedy, it will fit these people. They will not mind giving him $20 million for him to go sit down in France or somewhere in Europe, getting a big palace. He be there with children. They go to the best of school and they say, oh, that the former president of Burkina Faso. He said, no, this is my country. And anybody who has traveled before, understand, I don't care what you have in a foreign country. If you're not in your country, you are second class.
Second class.
You are second class. There's something like a
when you have the complexion that we have.
There's something like a magnet that connects you to your country. I realized that when after 40 years, I went back to Liberia. And straight away, I hit the ground. It's like it hits you. You feel connected straight away. That way you belong. That's where you belong. And not by mistake, God put us where we were. I don't care what we achieve. I don't care what we have. If we're not home, we are second class. It's only when we in our country we can stand our ground. Other than that, we just got to keep every time because we're trying to not offend anybody. You can't deport me from Liberia. You understand? So I can deal with anybody if a country wants to run right. You don't got to be catching people in the night to go kill them because they talk. If they say something that wrong, challenge them. And they say something that true, then change it. That's how we build a country, a wholesome functioning society. We can't be afraid of ideas. We can't be afraid to face reality.
Man, you need opposition. And there was no devil.
Our minds and ear to the world. So, and see what the world is doing and emulate the good things. You know, when you look at what so-called politicians, the only political books they can read are all these ruthless politicians. You know, when you will start reading books about politicians who build their country by doing the right thing, you know, and so it is up to us, Liberian people. The day we put our mind and we understand that it's not about me, it's about my children's future. If it didn't happen to me, let my children be able to enjoy a better country. Let my children be able to compete in the world and become successful. Just like I can hear the story of people who say I was poor and now today I'm millionaire. I want my children to say that same thing about themselves. I don't want my children to know the suffering that I'm suffering in Liberia today. I want them to hear about it as if it's something strange, because I gave them what it took to elevate them so that they don't live my life. Until the Liberian people start thinking in that way, we will keep on making the mistake over and over and over and over again. And that country God gave us is so rich. We keep on with this foolishness, we will soon find ourselves slaves again. You know, I was looking at those African people beating other Africans. I said, you see, the white man ready to take over their country again. Long time ago, Peter Buddha said, you want black men to ask to be getting gun, they will kill each other.
Yeah.
You understand? The white man pumping them again, and they're fighting everybody. Now they will turn everybody
and
against
conquer.
them.
Yep.
They will turn everybody against them, and the white man will win the election.
Yes.
And then when they ready to deal with them, they will have nowhere to run.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when I see these things, I just think to myself, if I were the president of South Africa, the kind of police force I would send out to the people to deal with them for beating your friends African, the kind of punishment you will get equal to death. Because what they're doing is putting themselves in prison. When all of Africa say, you're not coming, and the white people will deal with the white people. But you, nobody will deal with you. That when you want people to understand, nobody will understand that. If I were the president, if I were a Mimosa, those people, I don't care your vote for me next, but I will deal with you to the letter. I will deal with you. You would never think about doing it again.
But the fact that he's not taking action, you don't think in his favor of it?
He's scared.
Yeah, they don't want to lose. They don't want to lose. But gentlemen, this has been an interesting conversation. This is something that we can continue, especially with this xenophobia stuff. I'm talking to some guys, some of my colleagues from South Africa and most of the countries affected by the beatings, the violence, in South Africa. So we can, do a show on that. But we have to go. Time is fast spent when you're having fun. Even though it's not so funny, it's a very serious matter. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Senior National Security and Foreign Affairs Analyst, John Mawolo. I know you're all the way there in Maryland. Thank you for joining us today.
Man, thank you. Thank you. And sorry that I was late because I was trying to get that information from you and set up this thing. As you know, it's a new computer, so I got to have it set up for the next program.
Oh, yeah, and it's looking really neat, man. It's looking neat. We're going to have a good one in our next conversation. Looking forward to that. And my good friend, Daface, Eric Nimely, a.k.a. Daface, businessman and professional weightlifter. He's
a restaurant man.
Restaurant man, organizer. Yeah, so he's here with me in studio. He was able to make it here today. Thanks for coming, brother. I'm looking forward to continuing this conversation. But sorry, Mr. Mawolo, sorry. I give you the last one.
Good to meet you, and I hope we can do this again. It's all about Liberia, all about the best for our country, and whatever we can do, we will.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so we will.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you, Mr. Mawolo.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as we end this discussion, one truth is clear. Liberia cannot afford to let never again become yet again. Tonight, we've been reminded that the fight against drugs is not only about laws on paper. It is about whether our institutions can protect the young, stand up to powerful interests, and tell the truth when it matters most. The people who marched and said we're tired last year did not do so for speeches. They did it for action and accountability. That responsibility lies with all of us, leaders and citizens alike. Let this conversation not end on this stage. Let it continue in our homes, our schools, our churches, and mosques. and in every office where decisions are made. Thank you to our guests and to every Liberian who refuses to stay silent. I will see you again next time. But until then, please take good care of yourselves and remember to be kind to the people around you. Good night.